friend to everyone is a friend of none. No new friends. No new friends.
I'm Dr. Zito, clinical sexologist and host of this sex curious show, Sexplanations. Today I'm going to answer a very popular question. How do I eat ass? Eating ass, also known as tossing the salad, ribbing, cleaning the kitchen, singing the rusty trombone, analingus, and close sex is actually pretty simple. Step 1, ask your partner if you can. Any interest in me licking your asshole the next time I go down on you? How would you feel if I made out with your butt while you masturbate? Have you ever had a rim job? Step 2, once you have consent, it's time to get ready. Avoid giving anything bad to their asshole and get in their asshole. Here are the infections that can go from mouth to anus and anus to mouth. Herpes. If you have herpes on your mouth, aka cold sores, you can pass it to your partner's asshole even if you don't have an outbreak. And if they have herpes on their asshole, outbreak or not, they can transmit herpes to your face. Gonorrhea and chlamydia, 2 infections which can be tested for and treated easily. HIV, the risk is low because it's oral sex, but the anus is higher risk because the mucous membrane is so delicate. Syphilis, another one you can test for and treat. Hepatitis A and hepatitis B. These 2 you can get vaccinated for, so if you come in contact with the viruses, they won't harm you. Lastly, gastrointestinal problems and parasites, salmonella, E. coli. Basically the things that cause food poisoning might be hanging out and you don't want to put those in your body. Memories at a time. I'm sure you want to go down on someone and find a dingleberry of poop and pubes stuck in your teeth. So if you're the one with the asshole, watch your bowel movements. Healthy ones look like this, unhealthy ones look like this. Monitor what you eat so you're not sick or gaseous. Shower and wash your whole butt with soap, especially the anus and all those little crevices that make it look like a star. Stay outside though, don't go inside. And make sure to rinse off all the soap. Trim, shave, or wax your pubes if you choose, and wash again. If you're the one with the mouth, how about nothing spicy to eat that's going to burn the anus if you lick it directly? And for hygiene's sake, clean your mouth. Step 4, acquire some dams for a layer of protection. They reduce the risk of all the bugs I mentioned earlier and cover up the smell and taste of asshole. Here are 3 ways to make a quick dam that fits right between the cheeks. Condom. Make sure to be expired. Carefully remove the wrapper, unroll it about 1 inch, cut off the tips so it becomes a ring, then cut the ring open and unroll the condom into a dam. Glove. Remove the pinky, ring, and middle fingers, then cut the glove open along the pinky side. Now you have a dam with finger holes for the anus and or vagina if there is one. And non-microwavable cling wrap. Step 5, with all preparation in place, play. Play with all sorts of body parts, kiss, massage, whatever it takes to get all riled up before. Step 6, when you lightly blow on the asshole, blowing will not only light up this sensitive spot, it will waft the smell toward you so you can evaluate whether or not you want to proceed. If everything is a green light, move on to Step 7, add lube and put a dam in place. Add enough lube to keep things soft, but not so much that the anus thinks it's leaking. I'm not opposed to saliva and direct mouth-to-anus contact, but there are so many benefits to using a dam. This is strawberry flavored, but with any dam, your mouth is feces-free to explore other areas during and after analingus. Sexually transmitted infections are so much less of a worry, and your partner feeling self-conscious about their butthole being a butthole, that's all covered up. Win, win, win. Step 8, don't literally eat ass. Unless your partner is into a poking feeling out of nowhere, I recommend working your way to the anus from the buttocks, from the genitals to the perineum, inner thighs and up, kissing and touching with your hands, licking if you like, spreading the cheeks, and going straight in for asshole can feel quite jarring. I personally associate it with the pelvic exam, or wedgie. You want to feel welcome there, and the best way to do that is by approaching with care. Once you're at the site, think licking, gentle sucking, kissing, and tickling. Even making contact and not moving at all can be incredibly arousing. The anus is densely packed with nerve endings. It's part of a concentrated area of erogenous tissue, and it's slightly taboo. So there's a thrilling adventure in doing something pleasurable that society tells us not to. Step 9, check in. Come up for air and ask your partner questions. More, wetter, deeper. You could ask them open-ended questions like, how is it? But getting a yes or no answer means you're not caught up in conversation when they likely want your mouth getting back to business. Step 10, enjoy yourself. Analingus is hopefully pleasurable for everyone involved. If you're not into it, consider 69 and so you're getting oral sex too, or any new position for that matter. We've done videos demonstrating these positions, they're linked below. It's okay for you to stop at any time, and it's okay to let your partner know what you think about eating ass. Turns out, it's not my thing. I'm super turned on now and would like it if you went down on me. Step 11, wash your mouth and face afterward. Soap, water, mouthwash, brush your teeth, floss, mouthwash again, clean all the things. Step 12, then stay curious. Have the longer conversation about what it was like, whether or not you want to do it again in the future, and what could improve the experience. I'm confident that you and your partner will have some great solutions of your own on how to eat ass. Please subscribe, share, and like to let others know you value accessibility of quality sex education. And if you're able, you can fund our efforts as a sexplanat at patreon.com/sexplanations. Condoms versus boners. Boners versus condoms. Who's going to win? They're going to work together. That's how this is going to be. I'm Dr. Lindsay Doe, clinical sexologist and host of this sex-curious show, Sexplanations. I figured out some ways to make condoms easier to use so your dick doesn't recoil at the thought of putting one on. First, the basics. Size it correctly. If your condom isn't the proper size for your shape, then it can get all bunched up or constrict your dick and inhibit things from feeling good. I got this email message recently. I measured myself and I am 7 inches long, 5.5 circumference. Does that sound correct? And is that considered big overall? I kind of don't feel like I am large, but normal condoms seem very tight. I don't know how to explain it, but I constantly feel doubts, like my penis size isn't huge, just normal. Any feedback would be great help. Thanks. I don't know the thing with situation. He didn't think he needed a larger condom because when he worked, he took a distance from the store. He wasn't. When you put the right condom on him, it was a game changer. He size is on a bell curve. Most are around 5 feet 5 inches, 14 centimeters, 5.6 inches in girth. 11.7 centimeters. Some are smaller, some are larger. It really helps to measure. One option is measuring your phallus with a fit kit. This one, for example, measures circumference and length, then matches your specific dimensions to right brands and styles. Another option is to get a bunch of samples from a health clinic or store where they put a handful of different condoms together for you to try. Maybe there's 1 or 2 of each type that they have available in a sample pack so that you can play with them and determine what fits best. Or feels best. That way, your dick will be like, yes, dress me. I'm going in. Material correctly. When I first started having sex, the options were polyurethane, latex, and lambskin. They each have their benefits, but these days, there's one material to rule them all. In my opinion, polyisoprene. Polyisoprene condoms, which come in multiple sizes, are less likely to cause an allergic reaction, they're stretchy, and they're great at preventing STIs and unplanned pregnancies. How do you know what a condom is made of? It'll say on the box and package. Skins are polyisoprene brand. I also want to give a shout out to One Brand condoms because they're so pretty and clever and comfortable. Crown voted world best, and Trojan Ecstasy because they're wider closer to the end of the dick, so the material there can slide around. Put some extra lube on the tip of any of these. Go in or spit, and then when you turn it over and put it on the tip, you can just like that. Dr. Hernando Chavez encourages his clients to masturbate with condoms, put them on in the dark or with low lighting to get comfortable with the muscle memory of opening the package carefully, finding the proper direction with your fingers, and rolling it all the way to the base. All the way to the base. Doesn't need to be taught. This stuff stays at the end for fluid. The more comfortable you are, the less scary it is. The less scare, the less anxiety. The less anxiety, the bigger the boner. He also adds, it helps big time when people can communicate and request additional stimulation and sensation while putting a condom on. I want to help. Here's the scenario. A condom comes near your throbbing cock and you lose that ready-to-go erection. Yeah, it's okay. It can be difficult to feel things with a condom. It's like, quote, trying to get your car keys out of your pockets with mittens on. Show your partner this video or ask for help in these ways. Exposure. Exposure is a technique used in psychology to reduce anxiety or distress around a specific cause by safely exposing the person to the cause. So you're going to take a few condoms and you're just going to lay them near the penis. Touch the person's body the way they like. Ignore the condoms, but have them there to dissipate the intimidation. This is exposure. We're making out and you have condoms on your crotch. Don't think about it. This is exposure therapy. You can do it in other ways too. Leave condoms around the house, watch porn where condoms are worn, blow some up, and tuck those big boys into bed. I'm gonna tuck this big boy into bed. Condoms are not sex-destroying devices. They're pleasure-enhancing sleeves. Conditioning. The goal with conditioning, another psych trick, is to connect the condoms to positive feelings. For example, you set an unwrapped condom next to the shaft and you continue with a hand job, or you seductively slide the condom. It's a lube delivering device to make you feel good on your dick head. Make positive associations. okay. Massage the inner thighs and scrotum. Stay enthusiastic about your partner's body and leave the condom in place. Nothing has to change. Nothing is wrong. Cock rings. Most penises get hard because blood flows into the spongy tissue of the dick faster than it flows out. By making a ring with your hand or using an easy-to-remove cock ring, you can try to constrict the blood flow out while stroking or pumping more blood in. I know, complex, but experiment with it. Condom BJ. If you have the condom on a flaccid penis, great, it's there. Try to give the best blowjob possible. Make out with it, suck it, stroke it, slurp, embrace the taste. If you can, switch out for a flavored condom if it's unbearable. I just want to put this condom on with my mouth. I really need a hard one here. It doesn't work. It's not lubricated. Grip it. You're trying to connect pleasure to the condom. You may need to be more dramatic and intense with all of these feelings since there's a barrier between you and the nerve endings on their penis, but it doesn't have to be a physical feat. You can also talk seductively, moan, bite, whatever works for you and your partner to up the sex appeal of the condom. Period. Erection, ejaculation, and orgasm are not necessary to begin A+ in oral sex. I promise. Anticipation. Say that you want to try all of these things that I've described and not have vagina and penis, anal penis sex. VPAP, vagina and penis, penis and vagina. Takes away the pressure to get hard and stay hard and increases sexual tension. I've had a partner tell me to withhold sex for this reason. He said, don't let me have sex with you until my body wants it so bad that it will just stay hard with a condom. Okay, I'm more of a desensitize people to condoms and blow them with one until they get hard enough to penetrate but no expectations kind of gal. But can withholding work? Absolutely. Here are a few other suggestions. Have multiple condoms accessible so that if you fumble with one, there's another one to flex. Remember that even if this works, things will go back to the way they were. Maybe once, maybe forever. Try not to get frustrated. The penis might be trying to communicate by being flaccid. I don't want to have sex. I'm not ready. There's something wrong. Listen, there are many causes of erectile difficulty besides condoms. Consider those too. Alcohol, smoking, diabetes, heart conditions, stress, anxiety. One drink to calm the nerves might work. And get up and get a condom on it. Adjust. You're doing something new and learning. Like when you first tried eating with a fork and knife. It's awkward and you make a mess. That's okay. Bagging up penises isn't natural for anyone. The goal is to have an experience and then build upon it. Maybe these suggestions don't work. Maybe condoms aren't truly an option for you. It is also okay to seek other solutions for safer sex, like getting tested and openly communicating about your STI status, using other birth control methods like in condoms, which line the inside of a receptive partner's body, and different behaviors without penetration or body fluid exchange. Different partners. You can put a condom on your fingers and have safer sex that way. Finger in vagina and anus, right? You're wearing a condom. Yeah, so many ideas. Think creatively. Stay curious. Penis size is on a bell curve. I'm Dr. Lindsay Doe, this is Explanations, and we have a sibling channel called Naturally. The host, Britt Garner, is Thank you so much for thinking this up, and I'm really pumped to talk about this. I'm a PhD student in wildlife biology. On Naturally, we talk about life on Earth and why it's awesome. What is some of the common hypotheses that you have heard or know of? That it is, what is it called when it's like a tail, that it no longer has a purpose, that it's evolutionarily just disappeared? Yeah, vestigial, sometimes we use that, yep. The clitoris, that it's like an undeveloped penis that has all of the erogenous tissue and the ability to have an orgasm, but it's just in the side, or that it does increase the fertility of the female, because if she has an orgasm, then she's more likely to have contractions and draw the seminal fluid in with the sperm in it. Right, and all of those seem legitimate anatomically, but there's still something a little bit missing because it was looking at humans. And so this team 2 years ago, what was really cool, in 2016, came out with a paper where they said, all right, that's cool. These hypotheses have been on the table, but what if we go back and look at what
organismal female orgasms potentially did way earlier on in the mammal lineage.
This is so exciting.
I know. So the phrase mammal lineage gets me very excited too. Don't you worry. I'm thrilled about it. And what winds up coming into play is actually ovulation. It just so happens that there are a couple different ways that mammals ovulate. One of them is environmental. So there's some kind of a cue. A lot of times photoperiod, so the period of light in a day or in a season. And that triggers.
I'm so excited.
Right? So, and that's like completely mind-blowing that the eye picking up an amount of light makes an ovary release an egg. Like that's amazing how tied in we are to our environment. And so you have that for certain species that we do seasonally, something like that. We also in mammals have something called induced or partner-induced ovulation. And this actually comes from the act of copulation.
Cats.
Totally.
Okay.
You're good, man. She's good. What's cool though is actually thinking about why something like cats. So this partner-induced ovulation we see actually in North American predators that have really wide ranges. Well, if they have really wide ranges, you're not as likely to find a reproductive partner, right? A lot of home ranges and especially cats, they're a little more solitary. So if you were cued by the environment, it's possible that there wouldn't be a mate, and you're like, dang it.
Yeah.
So instead, the ovulation occurs because of the act, which makes sense if you're that kind of a species.
So if you don't know, domestic cats at least have spikes on the penis that go into vagina and kind of squeeze the walls. So ponies literally. Is that all cats?
Pretty sure. I don't know if the barbing is exactly the same in larger species, but for sure we see even in cats, so like I said, North American carnivores. So thinking about like a mountain lion or a cougar, absolutely, it's that the act of copulation that is triggering and inducing the ovulation. Just like that. That's actually scientifically accurate. It's what it sounds like. Ovulation.
You're horrible. Why are you tearing my vagina apart?
Pretty much. And they're like, ovulation, you're welcome.
Yeah.
So environmental and induced, or partner-induced or copulation-induced. And then you might be thinking, well, I don't do either of those. Mm-hmm. And that's true. Because primate lineage, so us and other primates, not all primates, but most, do something called spontaneous ovulation, meaning that nothing is inducing it. Like it's not an environmental cue. It winds up being a cycle. So with humans, we talk about an ovulation cycle, a menstrual cycle. So this is a really kind of unique thing in mammals, particularly primates. And so that is now where this research team looked and said, okay, if we want to get to the bottom of this, we want to look at which happened first in evolutionary time. Yeah. And so which one of these was earlier on. And one way to do that is to look at older groups of species. So getting out of mammal town and heading in and looking, mammal town, TM. And it turns out environmental cues for ovulation you see in fish and also some amphibians. So that's a way earlier version, if you will. So then the question mark was, all right, so then which one came first? Was it the copulation-induced or was it this spontaneous? So they decided, let's figure out some traits that we can kind of define and say, yep, that's orgasm. So in this study, the way that they said we're going to look at and cue in and say, yes, that is again, chromosomal female orgasm was neuroendocrine reflexes. So the brain is the neural part and endocrine, so hormones, and reflex being we're responding to something. In this particular case, they looked at two specific hormones. What they found that was the most common to look at was prolactin and also oxytocin. Yeah.
Bonding, right? Of course.
So in this specific study, they said, cool, let's go ahead and define that female orgasm as this reflex of prolactin and oxytocin. And then they looked across species and wound up finding that almost all of the organisms that they looked at in these trees were more likely to have this induced ovulation. And that wound up correlating to where the clitoris actually is in relationship to the vaginal orifice. Okay.
There's so much going on right now. All right, so you've got a tree.
Yeah.
That is mapping out all these different mammals.
Yep, and we call that a phylogeny. So a phylogenetic tree is showing the relationships and histories of different species.
Okay.
Totally.
And you're looking at their hormones, and you're specifically suggesting that it would be prolactin and oxytocin that are going to change throughout this tree to help us indicate whether or not these orgasms are induced, like cats, or whether they're spontaneous or cyclical, like human beings.
Yeah, exactly, and with primates. And so we have that tree exactly, and then we make a second phylogenetic tree.
Okay.
That instead of showing that tree, where the clitoris is anatomically, compared to the vaginal orifice.
Okay, and
it almost lines up perfectly that the clitoris being away from instead of inside or right on the edge of the vaginal orifice almost lines up 1-to-1 with the spontaneous or reciprocal ovulators.
what?
Yeah. Which tells us that the clitoris, if it anatomically is basically right there, of course it plays the role, right?